Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 430. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Brett Murdoch.
What's up?
All right. First off, good shout out to the Twitch chat right now. Thank you for joining us a day early. As we give you the heads up on Sunday, so thank you for that. And yeah, because of that, no Adam action and no Brian action, which is all right. But the thing is, as always, when we can, we either like move the day back a bit or just have it, with Manny, without Manny. The show must go on. We've been doing this for almost 9 years. Haven't missed an episode. We will keep that streak going, people. You already know. Good
stuff, man. It's good. It's a good streak to have. I mean,
it is. Yeah, I can't think of any other gaming podcast that have done that. Because some gaming podcasts, they'll be like, "Oh, we're taking a break during the summer. There's nothing happening." We've been doing this show for 3 years with nothing happening in the industry. And we're still going.
Mm-hmm. And we still find shit to talk about it, don't we? Right?
Yep. But here we go. Rich is already in the chat going red flop confirmed. Nah, Rich, I got another name for it, and it is inspired by you, because it sounds very Richard Bailey, like Redfall, Redfall. So yeah, let's not even beat around the bush. We got to talk about Redfall, people. So this is not a rumor. The company itself confirmed that when the game launches, it will be in quality mode only, 30 frames a second. And I think you could imagine the backlash that ensued after that, And what was interesting to me was, and shout out to the Throwdown gang for this, the Throwdown Twitch specifically, Discord, they brought out receipts of Xbox executives saying how they favor performance over graphics. Very interesting.
Interesting.
It's just on a constant line of things where insert executive X from company X. It's like, oh, we don't care. Nobody cares about old games, or nobody cares about quality mode 4K. It's better to have better performance. And no, there's always the receipts, man. And
always the receipts.
Like the Throwdown Discord busted out. Someone's looking pretty suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, we had all of them too. Greenberg, Uncle Phil, like they were all saying, "Oh yeah, it's all about 60 frames. We could even hit 120 frames."
And we also hit talking about the bingo card. Right. We also hit my agenda bingo card.
Okay,
the Carlos Romero agenda, and that's my whole stance since the beginning of the generation, where everyone is saying, "Just scale it up, just scale it up, just scale it up." It's like, it's not that easy. And everyone's like, oh, we're going to have these consoles. It doesn't even matter if stuff is running on the PS4. It doesn't even matter if things are getting ported to the Switch. Just scale it up.
I mean, you guys know it's getting patched in, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is at launch. Got to make that very clear. It's coming later, but, obviously, everyone's losing their mind right now. What's your take on it, Brett?
I mean, I'll be honest. Sure, 60 frames is great, and I know a lot of people are going to crucify me for this, but I really don't care that much. To me, it's just kind of jarring. Like, I watch anime, I watch things at so many different frame rates that as long as it feels smooth and it's not like impeding, sure, 60 frames is nice, but usually I want shit to look a little nicer, and I play on performance or on boost mode anyway. Or whatever the fuck it is, graphics mode.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people do. Again, like 60 frames a second is great, but and I'm sure it's great for really fast Twitch kind of things. But does it really impede my performance that much? No. So for me personally, it's one of those cool. Well, they're not gonna have a mode that I don't generally play out at launch, but they'll patch it back in. I guess that's fine. It's better than being delayed again if everything else is ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Just real quick, Brett. Just got to address this. Blitz says, hasn't Brett sung the virtues of 60 frames many times? Actually, he hasn't. Brett has been very consistent about this. We were even asked, what do you prefer, performance mode, quality mode? Brett, you've always said quality mode. You've always been consistent about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, nothing there. I'm the one that's changed his mind over time because I was the guy who was like, yeah, man, 30 frames is okay. Now I'm like, fuck that shit, fuck that. You got to give me 60, baby. I'd be like, I'm the PS5 and PC has conditioned me to be too used to 60 frames. So no, I'm good. And also, this is why I do a lot of more gaming on PC because I'm like, okay, I like the 60 frames, but I don't want to give up the ray tracing either. I want both. So
yeah, you've been spoiled.
Yeah. Absolutely. But Brett's been very consistent about this since from the jump. Manny as well. Manny's always like, 30 frames, man, give me that quality.
Performance mode to me doesn't make any yes, if they're able to pull out 60 from a with the graphical things, that's great. But if it's 30, I'm cool. I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I mean
to be honest, most of these fucking consoles can't handle that shit any fucking way. So it's always gonna be 30. So
it's always going to go back to 30 by the end of the generation.
Like the bullshit story that they tell you, oh, hey, we could get ray tracing to work. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Oh, they can. It's just at 30 frames a second,
Well, here's the thing to tack on what Manny said. By the end of the generation, they're going to be 30 frames anyway because they're going to be pushing the boundaries of the consoles. So
we're going to be back in the same boat again. Then they're going to start trying to sell us a new PlayStation or Xbox that's marginally more powerful and can actually handle doing 60 frames a second, and then the cycle continues.
Yeah, and remember, and this is something we've talked about many times too. The reason we got so many 60 frames a second games this generation is because most of those games are PS4 games. They're last gen games. It's easy to make them run that well.
There you go.
And I even asked this. I remember specifically asking this, what's going to happen when we have games that are only made for this generation, which is something I've wanted, right? I'm like, are we going to have to deal with 30 frames a second? Because it looks like that's probably what's going to happen.
Yo, let me ask the same question, but kind of reversed.
Uh-oh.
Y'all are buying next gen systems to turn down the graphics so the game looks moderately worse? Like, to me, that seems fucking weird behavior.
Well, performance.
Yeah,
they want performance. You can understand.
To me, that doesn't make any sense. If the thing is supposed to do ray tracing and all that shit, then why not turn on all the shit and run it in the quality mode?
Yeah,
because
what about
you're literally
for performance though.
Okay, but here's the thing: if they're like, well, doesn't it bother you to have like 30 frames a second? And I'm like, I mean, I guess a little bit, but like, doesn't it bother you playing a worse looking game? Especially when all y'all are fucking on there looking at like reviews of, wait, does it look 5% better on the Xbox or 5% better on the PlayStation? Y'all fight about it on Twitter. And then you get on and just turn down your settings so it can run at 60 FPS. Like, well, why does it matter where it looks better?
Yeah, I think I see both sides of the argument here, though. Like I totally see where you're coming from. It's a good point. It's like, yeah, you just bought this fucking $500 console. Why are you making the graphics look bad? But at the same time, it's like, you bought this $500 console. Why are you making it play bad? So I see both sides.
Yeah, I think it's just about preference, and I like pretty things. I'm a visual artist, man. Like,
you are an
I don't
artist.
think it should be surprising.
Yeah. No, we're not forgetting about Sonic. I was going to bring them up earlier. Yeah, they're the only ones that seem to get it right. They're like, hey, how about this, guys? How about we give you ray tracing and 60 frames? We just lower the resolution a little bit.
And you have lower resolution. You're still giving up something.
No, obviously you're still giving us up, but you're not getting 1080p. They hit that nice sweet spot, and it's still variable too. It's like it goes from 1440p is 2K, but like it kind of goes upwards to 4K, then 2K slides around. They're the only company that seems to do this consistently. I'm like, why don't we get that? To me, that's the best of both worlds. I'm willing to drop a little bit of the graphics to get nicer, frame rates and ray tracing.
I mean, people wouldn't. They'd still complain about not being given the choice.
Yeah, I would venture.
To be honest, I don't even
complaining about what Insomniac's doing though.
To be honest, I don't. To be honest, all these silly choices of how you want to play is kind of silly, because it's like if it's gonna run, it's gonna run. But ever since those stupid ass, like the more powerful same generation consoles, now we gotta go mess with fucking settings. Just give it one way and that's it.
Like PC, you know.
I mean, I'd honestly
because they're not fucking PCs, they're fucking consoles. And to be honest, like if you're playing around with all this other bullshit, it's not like you're getting this. It's not like you're getting a real PC experience. You're still getting a compromised experience regardless.
Yeah.
personally, I'd like to just kind of know what the developers intended and they think the best approach is. Like, call me weird, but I'm one of those people that's like, when trying to figure out how you should experience your art, maybe listen to the artist.
Yeah. But again, you know, we should say, yes, they will be bringing a performance mode eventually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But even when it comes out, like, it's not just going to boost everything they're doing to 60 FPS. It's going to lower your resolution. It's going to lower your bells and whistles. It's going to look a little bit worse, and you're going to get a faster frame rate. Again, that's fine. That's how some people are. This is going to sound like I'm talking shit. I promise you all I'm not.
Uh-oh.
Never had a problem with performance of games at 30. Like, and everyone's like, oh, 60 frames. Like, I can't play at 30 frames. Like, I don't have a problem playing with 30 frames. I beat some of the hardest fucking games out there, man. Yeah, I'm whooping ass on Wulong. That shit's in 30 frames.
Yeah. Unlike what these other guys say, and remember, I like 60 frames now. The whole notion of 30 frames is unplayable. That's stupid. You mostly played 30 frames a second. You were just fine. You know. Like when The Last of Us was first remastered. Remember, people were like, "Oh, I can't play it at 30 frames anymore." Like, you played it just fine at 30 frames.
Well,
you know.
I will say this. When I played The Last of Us, the first one, before everyone turned against it, everyone was praising it, and for me, it was almost unplayable because the frame rate on that game was. It was 30 frames, but that's the thing. They say 30 frames, but it dips below 30 frames a lot, and that's
no.
Yeah.
30 frames not locked is straight unacceptable. I need to make that distinction.
Yeah, absolutely.
A solid 30 FPS is fine. But like a weird variable one, like what we used to get with a lot of Japanese games, no mas. That's always. And you know, our beloved Metal Gear games were all about that weird fucking frame rate. Sometimes those games were running at 60, sometimes they were running at 30. So they were all over the place.
Yeah. Dude, variable frame rates are the bane of my existence. It's like running through random time dilation fields. You want to talk about fucking up your gameplay?
Yeah,
no, you're right about that, because even on PC, where like you could do unlocked frames, if it goes too crazy, I just lock it to 60. I'm like, no, don't give me that jumping shit. You know, I don't like that. Yeah.
Or the other fun thing that they do now is where they literally have the refresh rate of things in the distance run at like 15 FPS.
Yeah, when you see the birds
like in Monster Hunter,
like
Monster Hunter, or even Elden Ring does it too, where you look at the distance and everything go like stop motion and shit.
Yeah, it's like, yo, why is that bird flapping at 2 frames a second? You know.
I will say this. I mean, if you gave me the option, because it also depends on the game. If you're telling me, hey, do you want to play Elden Ring in 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, that just the graphics are going to suffer just a little bit, give me the 60 frames per second every day, because there are certain games that you have to like for me, it's a way better experience not having it not 60 frames per second. Racing games can be like that. Shooting games like Call of Duty, I feel like are better with 60 frames. But
anything competitive.
Fortnite. Yeah, anything competitive. But if it's Uncharted, 30 frames is fine. Give me the graphics on that.
The graphics. Yeah. Chris, what's your take on this, man?
I mean, you guys basically covered it. I don't... I think Redfall is. I've been disappointed with that, how that game has been developed since day one. When they first showed it, and it hasn't gotten any better. The frame rate issue is not a big deal. Where I really was getting steamed was the always on bullshit, and then they just announced like the player progression thing is this exact same as Back 4 Blood. So the main whoever hosts progresses and nobody else does. I'm like, what is with that bullshit? And why? And if you're playing single player, why does it have to be always on for DRM purposes? Like EA does certain things that just fucking stupid, and they just keep doing it. Like
Hey,
the
Chris?
same shit they did in SimCity and everything else. Like, oh, it has to be always online. Why? Why? How many times can you check that we purchased the fucking game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett. What?
Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, bro. what's up?
Is the game like is your single player character the same as your multiplayer character? I guess what I'm wondering is this only always on thing essentially a form of cheat management?
You know, I would assume it's whatever you're at in the single player mode is that you jump into your buddy's game with that, but you're kind of locked, right? So anything you do in your buddy's game isn't going to carry over.
It's
If there's
mostly
any
it's
weapon
mostly
progression,
anti-piracy.
Yeah. Like I said, DR. It's the same bullshit. They started this shit with SimCity. It had to be always online. SimCity has no multiplayer, but it always had to be on. Why? Because DRM and anti-piracy, and it's just fucking stupid.
But I mean, how many? I mean, granted, yes, there are people that do pirate games, but I mean, like, who's gonna be pirating this thing and playing it on a fucking console? If anything, you're gonna throw the DRM on the PC version.
Oh yeah, no, the Sims is like one of the most pirated games fucking ever. So, I mean, it's in response to their horrible, shitty, predatory business practices, so it's totally warranted. But
not the like console versions. I mean, like how?
No,
they haven't cracked the code on these things, or if they haven't announced anything for them. So it's like, why do you need to check on an Xbox every fucking 2 seconds?
Yeah, well, and also it penalizes everyone across the board. I'm going to almost guarantee that the frame rate issue is because of the DRM software running alongside the game, right? Because you on a system, you have to have resources dedicated to this stupid shit running on the side. It has to call home every how many minutes to check that your license is valid. This is insane. So it's like instead of resources that could go towards the game, or maybe you wouldn't have a performance issue, now they have to find a way to work around it and then get more performance out of the game, which is stupid. You shouldn't have to work around this stupid bullshit in the first place.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. So yeah, do we know when Redfall is getting the performance mode? Oh, it just says later. Okay, so I guess we don't know.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, and I guess that's just part of the bigger issue with all what video games is today. It's like all of these features are always never on day one.
Yeah, this generation, man. Anyway, let's move on here.
Well, what are you talking about, Tony? It's the greatest generation ever created. I love every single game that comes out this generation. What are you talking about?
I don't think I've heard a single person say "I thankfully," you know.
Well, maybe not that type, but kind of similar to like I just imagine, and Tony's gonna say, "Yeah, I've seen this." Like Tony tweets, something akin to, the generation's been disappointing.
Yeah.
But have you played this? But have you played this?
Mm-hmm.
But have you played this?
Yeah, it's stupid, but I'm like, okay, just 1 or 2 games don't make a whole generation, you fucking dumbasses. You know? But you know how it is, Carlos. People just want to be contradictory, man. You know?
You know what it is? Is because
Tony
they're
said
so
that
fucking...
fuck that guy, you know?
You know what it is? They're so fucking used to mediocrity that, you know, they don't know anything fucking better. They just know that all their games come out all broken and they have to patch it in a month. There's a shitload of delays. So it's like they don't remember a generation when fucking games just came out and you could play them.
Yeah, that's
Tony,
right.
Tony, you think this generation sucks? You obviously haven't been playing the new Mario Kart 8 Deluxe courses.
Yeah, I haven't been playing the Last of Us remake, you know?
For the third time?
For the third time, right? Yeah. Great generation, you know?
It's even better the third time. You know why? Because, you know, the enemies can follow you now. They're a little less stupid than they were than the last time.
Man. What a waste. All right.
But
go ahead.
Redfall is one of those games where Well, I'll see how the audience takes to it more than anything. Because when I first saw it, I was kind of interested because I was, I think we recently played Back for Blood and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and we had a good time. So when we saw that, I was like, the first thing that came to us was like, oh, that's like Back for Blood, like Left 4 Dead and all that stuff. But then the more they talked about the game, the more it's like, oh, it's kind of like it, but kind of not. It's like a looter shooter apparently now. So with the more thing, and then Chris with the DRM stuff. So the more they talk about this game, the more it kind of makes me not want to play it. So hopefully the game comes out good and the people enjoy it, and maybe it's something that we can do. We can play as a team over here in Throwdown. You never know.
Yeah, we never know, but I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, man. Nothing about that game interests me.
Yeah, something about the game. Yeah, I mean, besides, I don't know.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, I'm not getting good vibes from it.
Yeah. All right, moving on here. Talking about more Xbox stuff. So the Xbox. So Carlos, this is interesting.
Oh.
The Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct are happening the same day. Notice what name is not on there.
Bethesda?
Yeah, isn't it the Xbox Games and Bethesda Showcase? Now it's.
I have a theory.
Uh-oh.
Well, the whole thing with, everyone knows the whole Xbox and Bethesda Showcase title always bothered me because, it's all Xbox now. It's all part of the family.
Yeah.
Xbox, show your muscles. You own Bethesda. They don't know you. But anyways, I think the reason why it's called Xbox and Starfield is because Bethesda doesn't have anything other than Starfield.
That's it, yeah.
If they had something else, they would have named it the Xbox and Bethesda again. That's my theory.
Okay, so I'm reading this right now. On Twitter, a post has surfaced reportedly detailing the duration and potential. Okay, so it, to me, some guy I've never heard of posted this, but then Tom Warren from The Verge confirmed it. So it is real. So apparently the show is going to run from 10 to 12, 2 hours, and 30 minutes. So it's going to be 90 minutes will be for Xbox, and then 30. The last 30 will be just on nothing but Starfield.
Why can't they just make this part of the same conference? It's like, just call it the Xbox showcase, and just close it with Starfield. 30 minutes of Starfield. No one's gonna mind. It's one of the most anticipated games of the year.
The reason why they're putting a pin on Starfield is because it's the most thing that has the most interest for them. That's why they're putting. It's because they want to catch that attention.
Yeah, they don't everybody.
Go ahead.
Oh, they don't want everybody sitting around the whole show being like, "Where the fuck is Starfield?" They're telling you now. It's at the end. Now pay attention to the other stuff.
Okay.
But I mean, do you like think about it like this? Is Nintendo ever going to do the Nintendo and the Legend of Zelda conference?
It's because that Starfield has way more pull than actual Xbox does.
Yeah, and in fairness, maybe this is like a title thing. Like there's all kinds of way people like the order that people go in, and like the way that people say things matter. Like it could even just be like, look, a majority of this was developed outside of Microsoft. Maybe once we get to the point where like they've headed an entire development under Microsoft, it'll just be, Microsoft from Bethesda kind of thing. But they also seem to be treating them kind of like an independent entity. So maybe that's where the distinction comes from. Like, here's what I don't understand. Like, are we, as a community, are we booing giving not just the parent company credit, but the studio who actually developed games credit? Like, are we against that?
I'm not against it. I question it, because if it's all one entity, why are we splitting it off like that? That's like going, it's the Ubisoft and Ubisoft Montreal show. It's like, oh, what? That doesn't make any sense.
It's marketing. It's not has nothing to do.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think that's why
totally
Carlos
marketing.
and I are questioning this, like, because it's obvious what it is.
Yeah, it's the thing about it is it's kind of like having like your movie stars on the front of a movie poster. Sometimes you'll see a movie star's name over the title. because it's those familiar names that get people in the door.
Yeah.
So if Microsoft, just like last time, they didn't, last time when they showed Hi-Fi Rush, right? That was just a normal Xbox conference, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it
it
wasn't
was.
called Bethesda.
Yes. And you know what happened? People were raving about it.
Yeah. So I think the thing about it is that they want you to tune in for this one, and that's why they put that out. They put that they put the star over their title.
I mean, I don't disbelieve that for a fucking second. Microsoft has bad PR still. They're still fighting their way out of it. Bethesda has good PR.
Yep. That's why they call it the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what. Yeah. That's why and that's they have. The fans seem to still like Bethesda, and despite some of their little faux pas, and that and this is what's the hottest thing that's going to be happening on Xbox? It's Starfield. So.
Yeah.
Put your star right on top of over your title, and then there you go. People will tune in.
Yeah, they're also going to once they acquire Activision, they'll be like Xbox Activision Showcase.
I can't wait for next year for the Xbox and Senua Saga showcase.
Well, they'll do that until everybody's used to the brands being under one umbrella.
I don't think Senua's is going to get something like that. As much as there's a fanfare there is for it, I don't think it's
fun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think
because it's to me it's silly,
Yeah, I mean, for someone like me, I think for a huge chunk of the Bethesda fans, Bethesda games and Xbox are kind of synonymous with each other. I know it is for Brett and for myself and for Adam.
I mean, now it is, but I kind of view this like putting artists' names on comic books.
Maybe.
Like, are you not going like everybody like, yeah, Steve Ditko works for fucking Marvel, but are you not going to put his name on the cover?
But you see what I'm saying though? It's like it hasn't been done like that before. It's weird.
No, it hasn't been done like that. It hasn't done like that. But I think again,
this is for marketing. That's what it is.
It's just purely for marketing. It's just like one thing is coming along. If this is the truth. So
it's a PlayStation and Insomniac showcase. Like what? That's fucking weird.
I can actually see.
It's the PlayStation and Naughty Dog showcase. Like
I can actually see something more like the PlayStation Bungie showcase.
Even that would be weird. Like they own Bungie now. What's the point?
Yeah, I just feel and you guys are right. This isn't a disagreement or anything. I just feel like Xbox, just doesn't feel comfortable to just wag their tail and be like, this is Xbox. Because I feel Bethesda has been part of Xbox for 2 years now?
Yeah.
So it's not like they got them yesterday.
Have they released any exclusives though?
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush.
That wasn't Bethesda, was it?
Yeah.
That's under Bethesda.
It was.
ZeniMax.
So Tango Games Works is part of Bethesda.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay. Today I learned. Cool.
They showed up on. They literally showed up on the Bethesda stage to show off. What was it? That Ghostwire Tokyo game.
Yeah, I feel like that was a miss.
Remember Internet? Remember
that? Yeah, but that came out on PlayStation first. So did Deathloop. Like, and I bear with me here because I could just be being dumb. I'll admit that out, straight out front. But like, I don't know if everybody is super familiar with the acquisitions and the companies under Bethesda or in Microsoft. So like, I think, like kind of Chris said, like when people get used to it and kind of internalize the idea, I think they'll drop it. But I think they're really trying to make the connections. Like remember these guys are part of Microsoft now.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess for at least for me, the reason why a lot of this just seems kind of weird, even though I do understand that it's definitely a marketing ploy, is that they've never done it before with any of the other 100 things that they've acquired, like Rare or Ninja Theory or forgot the other one that's called that they Double Fine or any of those
guys none of those guys got Bethesda pull though.
They were studios, weren't they?
What was that?
What's up?
Those were studios, right? Like Bethesda's a publisher.
Well, they're a publisher studio.
Yeah, because they
Kind of both,
publish
yeah.
their own. They produce their own games and they publish them, so they're one.
So like I'm wondering, like, I don't know if you're going to give every studio one, but like the published one. Personally, my tinfoil hat theory is they're just really trying to brainwash you into association between Microsoft and Bethesda. And they think if they say the words close enough together enough times, your brain's just going to make that link.
Yeah, but again, that's for the normies because again, guys like me and Carlos are like, why are you making that distinction? Bethesda is part of Xbox, but we know about this stuff, obviously, But again, like I said, here it is. Yeah, the PlayStation and Naughty Dog showcase. Okay, bro.
Yeah.
What does Sony own any publishers?
They own a lot of publishers.
Like what? I mean, give me a name of a publisher. I'm not
a publisher, not a developer.
Yeah.
A developer. I guess it's all developers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say that that Bungie is a publisher because they.
I mean, I could see Sony Bungie, or if Sony bought Ubisoft, I would fully expect them to have a Sony Ubisoft conference.
But that'd be stupid too.
Yeah.
But I also don't think. I also think that.
I mean, hold on. You love Square Enix.
Okay.
That's literally just the name of two companies that kind of merged into one.
Yeah, but they're not merging. They're not merging. That's a difference.
One didn't buy the other.
Yeah, that's a difference. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Xbox said
Xbox didn't merge with Bethesda.
Xbox didn't become Xbox didn't become Xbox Bethesda.
And who knows? It's possible that the brand has so much positive feedback that they keep it. Like they just keep referring to Bethesda separately. But with something like Activision, if it was me, I would just absorb it. It would just be Microsoft's Call of Duty after one.
No, but again, this is all just marketing because
it's marketing.
Like Brett rightly said, Xbox still has that bad stigma. Bethesda has the goodwill. So let's
I would keep it. I would keep it.
It's like that one guy, it's like there's nothing really interesting about him, but the guy he hangs out with is interesting. He always talks about that guy, so it's like that's what's going on here. Xbox really got nothing going on. I was like, hey, but Bethesda though, let's talk about them real quick. Aren't they great? Aren't they special? What about you, bro? What you got, man?
I just feel like I eventually, and hopefully this is the case, that every time you think of Fallout, you think of Xbox. Every time you think of Starfield, you think of Xbox, and not make the jump like Starfield, Bethesda, and then Xbox. Like so people whenever they think about those games in the mainstream, like they make that correlation right away. So it's like, Fallout, that's my Game Pass game. That's what Uncle Phil's gonna give me for Christmas.
Oh man. All right. Anything else you guys want to say about this? All right, take that as a no, so we'll move on. Go ahead.
Seikei said Bethesda operates somewhat separately from Xbox. It does have some sort of autonomy, but they do definitely work together in a lot of aspects. Yeah. And they mentioned that in their introductory video stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think Phil for the meantime is going to let them do it.
He knows things.
Yeah, I wonder if Bethesda wants to remain that. I wonder if they want to be like, don't just cover us. Like, still give us the credit.
It's like, give us the money.
Yeah, like you still tell people when we make these games, right? Like, yeah. We'll still tell them. Just be happy and go back to work.
Yeah, we're not going to Steve Ditko you.
Okay.
Yo, last year, the prequel, the Star Wars prequel meme with Padme and Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, where they're sitting on the grass.
That's meme, yeah. That's Phil Spencer talking to Todd Howard. So Starfield's going to come out at the fall November, right?
Right.
And there's nothing.
Right.
Right.
And Todd's like,
Oh man. All right. Let's talk about Nintendo.
Is it a cereal now?
No, we got to talk about Nintendo going after the guy who leaked the art book. They're actually demanding Discord reveal this person's identity, which is interesting. Chris, I'm guessing you know a little bit more about this than I do. I saw this. I'm like, Nintendo being Nintendo again. You know?
Yeah, I mean they do not take kindly to leaks. So someone on Discord put up artwork that's going to be in the Tears of the Kingdom special edition or deluxe edition, whatever it is. There's an art
Yeah.
book, and they leaked the art in the art book. I don't know if they leaked how much of it they leaked. I don't know if it's all of it or whatever. So Nintendo's are is pissed about it, but they don't handle things very well in terms of leaks. And I know this because 1 year I worked. I don't remember which E3 it was. Somebody hacked the site, the E3 site, and got a whole bunch of images because we are going to back then re-release Ocarina of Time
Yeah.
on the store, and so there was new screenshots, new art, and so basically somebody leaked it. It's like, oh, confirmed Nintendo's going to re-release Ocarina of Time and all this stuff, and the video leaked or whatever. Man, the internal witch hunt and the drama went on. It's like, oh, so I can only imagine what that atmosphere is now, because they seem even more litigious than even back then, than under Reggie. Like Doug Bowser seems like he will go after like a kid and his fucking lollipop if he mentioned Nintendo the wrong way. So I can only imagine like the he has a bat phone to the lawyers, and how which meeting that whose phone it was, like how the hell did they get it, and if they're high quality assets, then you even narrow it down who had access to the assets and all this shit. Yeah, I mean, they get really fucking like parent. They play everything close to the chest, and they're even more closed off about info than they were back when I worked there, or even back when Reggie was running Nintendo of America. They're even more closed off about this shit. So this to go like and to go to court and order Discord, like you have to tell us the user who leaked this and whatever. That's insane. And the kind of pressure they could put on this person, because let's say the person was just like, hey, some guy I know, an insider, gave it to me, and then he put it up on Discord, right? So when they get his name, they're going to threaten him with all sorts of stuff and lawsuits and shit, just threaten to ruin his life unless he gives up his sources and stuff. That's not a good position to be in. And then, it's like a private company wielding all this power over stuff. This guy, maybe he's just like, hey, I just got this shit and I just put it up for people to look at. Hey, don't blame me, man. I didn't steal it. But at the same time, you have to you look at it the other way. It's like, what other recourse could they take, to try to prevent this? Because it's like, yeah, it's an exclusive thing. It's still coming out in a month and a half, and it's like, how do you handle this? Well, they don't handle things too well. They immediately go to the lawyers. So I can see both sides of it, but that it's that's how they're handling it. And we've talked about Nintendo throughout history, how they've been very litigious in things like Game Genie, Blockbuster, whatever, like you name it. They've gone to court. They tried to fight things. They tried to end game rentals in America. They ended Galoob. Galoob went out of business because they couldn't pay all the court fees over Game Genie. It's just, that's how they are.
They're fucking gangsters, man. It's fucking crazy.
I just feel bad when they turn that to like a person.
Yeah,
the bunch of gangsters. Like, so they'll bully Discord, and Discord probably be like, "Hey, listen, I don't want this heat," and they'll give up the metadata for this person. What sucks is like if that guy is just like some outsider. Hey, I just got some info for somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna sue the shit out of you unless you tell us where you got it from." And it's like, you're as a person, like just a private citizen, you probably don't have a lawyer on hand or whatever to help you.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna get bullied out of like whatever Nintendo wants to do. If they say, hey, mail us your fucking PC right now so we can look through it, all this shit. I don't know what they're gonna do to send like Men in Black to his house. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
I feel bad.
Yeah, but Bliss is right, because I said they're like mobsters. No, they're yakuza.
Oh yeah.
He said Miyamoto's gonna chop off fingers.
Yeah, right, man. Bring a samurai sword in this dude's house.
Shit, yo. Yeah, don't fuck with Nintendo, man. By the way,
the two Wii guys show up at his door and they're actually holding swords.
Yeah, no Wii remote this time, man.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Blitz also says, Did you see GameStop fired a guy from leaking the console? Yep, I saw that. I saw that in the Discord. The Tears of the Kingdom Special Edition console. I guess this guy leaked it. He, GameStop employee was like, hey, check it out. Nintendo coming after that ass. Nintendo don't fuck around, man. It's crazy.
Nintendo ain't nothing to fuck
I mean,
with.
it's a little bit. Were they able to scrub that shit off the internet, or are they just being vindictive now?
You can't. This is the internet, Brad. You can't scrub that shit.
So that's kind of my thing. Like, bro, like, maybe I'm in the wrong here, man. But like, look, somebody likes your stuff so much that they just kind of wanted to share it with everybody. Like, it's a crime of passion. Sure, it's not great, but they did it because they were a fucking super fan. And now
Nintendo doesn't care. Now
you're just going after them to be fucking vindictive when there's no recovery to be had.
And that's how they are. This is very a kind of authoritarian tactic. They don't want leaks, right? So this is to scare any employees and anyone inside. But at the same time, they'll probably ruin a couple people's lives in the process. And I don't agree with, because it's like, if you take this dude to court, right, and then you have to now prove that he has impacted your profit margin from Tears of the Kingdom. From leaking an art book that's an incidental part of the game, it's not the game itself. How has he ruined your profit margin, right? I don't like. What are you going to say? This is impacting sales of the deluxe edition, and then how do you prove that? It's tough, but here's the thing: it's like, once you get this guy in a corner and lawyers start harassing him, like, or whoever it is, like, it's like, what do you do? You're going to get intimidated, and you're just going to like, I don't want this heat. I don't want this shit.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing of it, like, it's a Nintendo art book, man. Like, the people that are going to buy the Nintendo art book are not going to be satisfied with a scanned JPEG on their computer.
No, they want the book. They're going to buy that deluxe edition. Like, that's the thing. It's like this is not something that's going to impact your sales. It's not impacting your bottom line, your profit margin from this game. All this is a tactic to kind of scare anyone, like any of their third party, any of your second party marketing, anybody internally who has close access to assets like this, to scare the shit out of them. Like, don't ever leak this shit. That's really what the tactic is. They go, and it's like, well, this is ruthless, because it's like, even if you can't prevent that, you're constantly having new people come in. You're constantly working with new agencies. You cannot possibly intimidate anyone or everyone who could possibly work with you from doing this in the future with any title. And then the only repercussion is you might ruin some guy's life, right? You might bring the weight of all your lawyers in your company down on some dude who put some pictures up on Discord.
The real irony to me with this thing is, like, Nintendo on the surface is like the friendliest, cartooniest, like, family friendly, blah blah blah, but like, they're the most fucking ruthless. It's like Yakuza owning an ice cream shop.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good analogy. Yeah, they're vicious, man. And again, Brett, that's something we talked about before too. It's like, these people, like, they just want to show their love for Nintendo, and Nintendo's like, nope, don't do that. Like what was it? Somebody did like a fan remake of like Metroid 2. Nintendo took that shit down. Meanwhile, Sega's like, oh, you guys did a fan remake of Sonic? We'll hire you. Make this game for
and that's
us.
The thing that fucking baffles me. Like, Nintendo, more than any other company, has enough iconic things that if they just let their fan kingdom participate freely in fan service, that shit would be permeating the internet way more than it is now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be quite so fucking niche.
Because you're right, because they have to play by Nintendo's rules. Look at all those fucking YouTubers that were Nintendo influencers, right? They had to play by Nintendo's rules,
Dude, look at Sonic. How long after the death of Sonic is Sonic still a super big thing on the internet? Yeah. I'm talking even before the movies. Like,
Yeah,
People
no,
had like
the fans kept it going.
bro, that shit had crash and burn, but it's all the fucking fan
all
art.
about the 3D games.
Yeah, well, it's all about the fan art. Some of it super fucking weird, but okay. It's all about the fan art and the community. Like that shit won't die. It is self-sustaining. Meanwhile, Nintendo is just trying to like every time somebody holds hand and has a sing along, Nintendo just comes crashing through the gate, kicking people in the face. It just does it like just leave it alone. Let your fan base saturate. And like
Nintendo doesn't operate that way.
They seem to hate success.
Yeah,
they're all about they're all about controlled fun time. That's what it really is.
Yeah, no, Nintendo actively hates its fan base, you know, and the fans love it, which is interesting.
So
it's like it's like you treat how like that there's like people in a relationship and one of them treats them like utter shit, but the other person totally worships them. You know that?
Yep. It's an abusive. Thing? Yeah, it's an abusive relationship for
abusive
sure.
Relationship.
You know? Yeah, it's a very abusive, you know.
And yet everybody, those nostalgic glasses, all your Nintendos and your Marios all jumping around like, yay, they're so great. And yet they're literally stabbing you in the back. You see them doing it, but it's all a good time.
I want to throw in there, like, I just realized I was like, okay, probably look at this from the other way too and throw that out there since it sounds like we're just probably talking shit on Nintendo fans. Nintendo fans, you are the most authentic, genuine, loyal fucking fan base in all of gaming. Also the most vocal. But in our opinion, at least, well, in my opinion, I can't speak for everybody, you guys deserve better. And that's where the shit talking comes in.
That's how I feel. It upsets me to have such a loyal fan base get shitted on by the entity they love so much. It's very disheartening because you're right. Like, you will not find any more hardcore fans than Nintendo fans. Like, they are the hardest of the hardcore, but they get treated the worst, by the company they love. It's very upsetting.
Give an example. We did a story years ago. Some guy would put on, he was doing a charity, and he was doing a Pokemon, like a card game, a meetup at a bar. And he had got collected just for the bar fees and stuff, right? He collected like something like $40,000. And Nintendo sued him to stop it because they were using Pokemon. All this guy was doing was trying to get a charity thing together, and he was using Pokemon to do it. He wasn't profiting off of it. The door fee was just to pay for the bar, the space, right? And he ended up paying them, I don't know how many thousands of dollars.
Jesus,
and it's ridiculous.
Nintendo, man.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing we're talking about.
Yeah, fucking disgusting, man. All right, move on here. All right, we got to talk about the silliness because we can't get away from it.
Manny, oh, no, not again.
But it's not directly, but it is. Do you remember those, I'm just going to call them what they are. You remember those fanboys who were trying to sue Microsoft over the Activision Bethesda deal? Yes. The judge, I believe he turned it down, but now they're doing it again. They're trying again. But the interesting part about this is that in documents that have been like unearthed, it seems Sony has been like encouraging these guys.
Wow.
How did they buy you guys? Like, what do they have on you? Is it blackmail?
Yeah. But it's called the gamer lawsuit because it is like 3 fanboys from like California or whatever. I still can't believe they even let this go. It's like, this is fucking stupid. It's just a bunch of fanboys.
These guys must have some money to keep throwing that stuff into court.
Yeah. So I'm going to read this last part. This is from True Achievements. But this is off of Steven Totilo, his reporting. Another document sourced to Totilo that outlines discovery mentions that Microsoft was surprised to read that plaintiffs received document productions from Sony weeks ago, also noting that a second subpoena was sent to Sony for additional documentation after timely submission of the first documents, with this second set turned around in just 1 week. FOSS patents goes a step further to suggest the possibility of greater involvement from Sony in what it suggests to be it could be a last resort to try to block the Activision Blizzard deal. If It even goes so far as to point out that similarities to Sony's own arguments made to regulators and raises the possibility of Sony's outside console having ghost-written some or all of the passages, albeit with the caveat that such suggestion is purely speculative.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
So is Sony writing shit for these fanboys? Like, what's going on?
Well, I don't think they're not just scripting these guys, but they might be bankrolling it too. They're not using Sony internal lawyers because that would obviously be a conflict of interest. But it's not to say that on the side they're not bankrolling this lawsuit. Remember, something similar.
This is some Cold War shit, you know. It's like, we're not directly fighting the Russians, but just give those Afghanistanis some money, you know. Like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, remember when Hulk Hogan sued Kotaku's
Gawker Media?
Yeah,
Gawker Media. It was Peter Thiel who bankrolled him, right? It wasn't him. Peter Thiel wanted those motherfuckers shut down, and he used Hulk Hogan to do it because he had a grievance also.
Yeah.
So he bankrolled him every step of the way. Probably ghost wrote whatever he had to say, got him lawyers, paid the fees, everything, just to stick it to them. So who's to say? And you'd have to prove this, but I'm sure Sony would do some clever accounting to funnel money into these guys because, like you said, I don't remember if it was Carlos or Manny who said it, who bankrolled this for them to be able to get lawyers to file multiple lawsuits.
Yeah,
it kind of suspicious.
Yeah, I know it is.
I mean, I said it's like here's the thing: they must have a lot of money to be throwing this back into court.
Yeah.
So
somebody's bankrolling that.
Yeah, it's not just a couple of gamers with if they are, they're probably gamers with a lot of money, but I feel like it's something else.
So hold on, they can get these guys like subpoena documents within a week, but they can't present Microsoft's lawyers with the documents they're going to present in court as they're supposed to.
Yeah, this is interesting, man.
I mean, dude, it just feels like dirty pool, and like I kind of want to ask.
It is dirty pool, Brett.
It is.
100%.
I kind of want to ask, like, and I don't think anybody in the panel is like this, but there might be somebody in the chat, like, to the big Sony fanboys, right? Like, where's the line? Where's the line in which you're like, okay, that's shitty. I'm not cool with that.
I guess we'll wait for answers.
Because I'm wondering, is there one? Or is it the ends justify the means kind of situation?
That's a good question because, again, some people honestly believe, and I'm not going to take anything away from them, but they honestly do believe that this deal, if it happens, will be bad for gaming. So maybe in their eyes, they're like, yeah, whatever you need to do it because this needs to be stopped. That's a possibility. But again, just remember the caveat, the whole thing of Sony bankrolling these guys, that's pure speculation.
No, but just
we're speculating
so promptly to me is kind of already
but Brett, I'm just trying to say, yeah, I think so. Some people who are vehemently against this, they may go, ends justify the means. We got to stop this because they believe it's an existential threat to gaming. You know, and I understand why. I get it. You know, I don't agree with it, but I understand where that mentality comes from. You know.
Yeah, that's not a gotcha question. Believe it or not, somebody on the internet is being genuine, but I'm genuinely curious. Like, is there a point where you're like, we're going to war? This can't come to fruition. Otherwise, John Connor is not going to make it, and we're all doomed.
Yeah. I'm not okay. Bliss just says, as a Sony fan, this is all dumb, and I just want it to be over. What will be, will be. So he's kind of like me. I'm like, I just want this shit to be done. This is fucking stupid. You know, he goes.
I want to get back to talking about games again.
Yeah, well, we need games too for that. But we do talk about games when they do come out. We talk about Hi-Fi Rush like crazy. You know.
We talk about Hi-Fi Rush like crazy.
Yeah, Blitz. See, because you're sane. He goes. I don't think the deal is good, but I'm not going to sue either. Yeah, because you're not crazy. Yeah. All right. Mighty Nurse says he doesn't care.
Every time I hear that, I hear from The Fugitive, I don't care.
I don't care. Tommy Lee Jones.
Off the dam.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones was good in that, man. They were all good. That was a good movie.
Yep, The Fugitive.
Yeah, Fugitive was awesome. All right. Anything else you guys want to say about this?
The future, the one with Paul Newman.
No, no.
Paul Newman.
The Paul Newman. What is that? I don't know.
Fugitive wasn't a bad movie.
You know, U.S. Marshals, the kind of follow up wasn't bad either with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, with Wesley Snipes. Yeah,
I like that movie.
he was like Black James Bond in that movie. They were trying to get him all kinds of crazy shit, falsely accuse him.
But yeah, Carlos, do you have any thoughts on this? Like the potential that Sony may be bankrolling these. But the thing is, like, apparently, like, okay, the bankrolling is speculation, but they did give documents over to their lawyers. That did happen. That's not speculation, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff is kind of pathetic, if you ask me. If it's true, obviously there's a lot of speculation going around, so I'm not gonna.
The documentation, that's real. That's that's real. Yeah.
But the whole thing where they're bankrolling
speculation.
People to sue, yeah, that's if that's true, that's pretty pathetic in my opinion. If you're I kind of respect Sony for fighting this till the bitter end, but at some point, if you're going to lose, then you're supposed to lose with dignity, because it's this kind of stuff just makes it seem like you're like uber desperate, even more so than you already are, and you're already damn desperate. So I'm cool with Sony doing everything in its power to try to make this deal stop. But at some point it does, this isn't going to change anything. Just some dudes suing a mega corporation over a huge deal. That's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Unless
the people just want money off of it, be like, oh, the damages it does to me. I need $10 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's if Sony's somehow behind it, it's pretty weak.
I know the hypothesis kind of fits the facts, but look at it this way: Sony's not winning right now with a Goliath versus Goliath strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like them going to the FTC and the UK, the CMA, and all this stuff, that hasn't worked. But if you can get an organic looking lawsuit, if you could get gamers and the people to say, hey, this is anti-consumer and it's coming from the consumer, and you push that along, right? However you can, give them discovery, give them information, paperwork, maybe a little money on the side. It's in your best interest if you're trying to derail this deal. Just saying.
Yeah. Like I said, this is a Cold War right now.
I wouldn't mind if they do, a little bit of propaganda. Be like, it's like, we're educating the youths. Telling them that these conglomerates can just gobble up the whole industry. That would be pretty cool to see how that would unfold. But I think I'm gonna give them some credit, and I don't think the whole thing with those people is true. But I do agree with Chris's point. If you want to educate your fan base and the general public of why you think this is bad, then by all means.
Yeah. All right.
But for some reason, they don't. If they do want to make a full court press on this whole thing, they would start releasing commercials. They would start doing part of their state
ads.
I would think you play politics, right? Yeah, you would take out ads. You'd have whole videos on and then just smear Microsoft. Right? I would think that's the way to go. I agree with you.
Visit every county in Iowa and
full of billboards.
Shit is crazy. All right, man. The last story of the night, Manny. We got to talk about this, man.
Uh-oh.
Have you heard what's going on with some Chinese developers using AI to create art for their video games?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so
China's the center of knockoffs, and what is AI art? It's the center of a knockoff.
Yeah, so check this out. This is what I found interesting. A combination of AI adaptation and regulatory setbacks have reportedly caused illustration jobs to decrease by 70%, with companies increasingly relying on DALL-E and Midjourney to produce fast and cheap assets for video games. 70% of people already lost their jobs. That's nice.
And
yeah, and it doesn't affect anything.
No, it's the future.
Still
this is
need
great.
artists.
Yeah, this is great.
Okay.
But at least, because I'm reading this from Kotaku, the angle they're taking, which is interesting, is that the Chinese players are pretty annoyed about this because it's pretty obvious the art is AI generated. Fucked up hands and everything.
And they didn't hire an artist to fix any of those things.
It's just
no, they're just taking it right out of the whatever is generated.
So, what's your thoughts on this, Manny?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest. Especially again, like I said, China, the center of knockoffs. Even though, and it's funny because they've been trying to effectively show their own, try to make things that they're known for, so they're not seen as a knockoff. Like a lot of their films and stuff, they've been genuinely trying to essentially put things off. They're not seen as that way. But all this does is just sound like the same old story, right? Just to get it done the cheapest way as possible, catch as many people who might be confused or don't know any fucking better, and then make your money and then get the fuck out. It's the same shit. The only difference now is now you can't actually you have to literally go deeper to try to identify if all the artwork is all stolen, as opposed to the way it used to be, where they used to literally go on a DeviantArt or any other art site and just rip shit off and put it in their fucking titles.
Yeah. So apparently in one instance, one of the developers, because basically they found out that posters for a game called Alchemy Stars was being produced by AI. The fans were not happy about that, so now they're actually promising to stream the drawing process for their future illustrations, which is pretty interesting. And then some of the players have called the AI art digital carcasses, which is pretty accurate.
Oh, because they're soulless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are soulless.
Yeah, and apparently they're using this process to create in-game skins, but again, they're not checking it, so it looks bad, and the players are pissed off.
Oh yeah, well that's what's going to happen. And if players don't start, don't start making a standard against this shit, this will become the status quo. But yet again, nobody's calling making these companies like Midjourney and a bunch of those other companies accountable for the shit that they fucking did. They literally stole was it how many years of artwork to train their model? That's fucking illegal. That's illegal on a massive scale, according to Corridor Digital's fucking lawyer.
Yeah. No, but it's just gonna keep going. It's fucking wild, man. So
yeah. Now it doesn't the thing again. It doesn't surprise me because it's always the same bullshit. People trying to skip in line. And call whatever the fuck this shit is creativity when it fucking isn't.
But man, it democratizes art.
Yeah, what's his face say? Yeah, it democratizes art. Yeah, it does a lot of other things. That's what makes it dangerous. Again, we go back to that one line by Jeff Goldblum. He's like, you did it, but you never asked yourself if you should do it.
Yeah,
which I'm probably quoting him wrong.
Yeah, it was I'm going to quote it wrong too. It's in the process of doing. Yeah, when you're doing, you never question if you should.
They never asked for anybody.
You were so focused on what you could do, you weren't focused on whether you should do it. Something like that. That's what's going on here. That's exactly what's going on.
That's exactly it. And they never got Midjourney and all those other fucking places never at one point called in any artist to at least try to get this thing into a place where it could be seen as a tool and not just as something else.
Yeah.
But now Pandora's box is open, and this is what we're gonna get. We're gonna get a bunch of cheaply generated content that looks like obviously it technically in a lot of cases it's technically sound, but at the same time it's soulless. There's nothing to it. It's just that's what it is. So, again, I'm not. I saw this shit coming. Saw it a mile away.
Yep.
So, hey, good job, China.
Yeah, Carlos, you gonna say something?
I'm just thinking about that going back to memes again with the Padme was like, oh, this is how liberty dies. It's like, and I'm just thinking about, so this is how artistry dies.
Yep.
With a thunderous algorithm.
Thunderous algorithm. Listen, man. Like I said, I'm fully prepared. I'm not an artist, but I'm a writer. I'm fully prepared. In 5 years, I'm probably going to be out of a job. It's like.
Well, I mean, this stuff will creep over here too, and and like
that's the question I wanted to ask you guys. Like, when will Western developers start doing this?
Oh, don't worry. I mean, look
if
at
they're
how
not
much
already doing it. Yeah.
I mean, Midjourney and all these other companies like whatever OpenAI. Yeah. Well, OpenAI is the ChatGPT, but still, all these learning models or whatever are being developed here.
Yep.
So eventually, it's going to start affecting creatives here, right? And in a lot of other fields too, like these language learning models, that's going to put inside sales guys out of business and all this stuff. And with the artistry, we're going to have the same problem. We're going to have this soulless generated content. And Steve Jobs said this when he was alive. He said a lot of business people can't tell the difference between a good product and a bad product.
Yeah.
They just know they can cut out salaried people, just put prompts into this thing, and it spits out art, right? And it looks decent enough to them. They're not going to be able to tell that the face is fucked up or it has 7 or 8 fingers sticking out of every angle, right? They're just going to be like, hey, that looks painted and it looks cool. And they're just going to put it out there, and they're just going to fire their staff. And, there's going to be this wave of, unfortunately, this like downturn of creative jobs, right? Where it's being replaced by this stuff until they're going to need people like Manny and stuff to come in and start fixing the shit because enough consumers are going to complain like, hey, this art sucks, or this thing has like 3 eyes and the eyes are all googly and weird and like this looks soulless and shitty, and then you get enough complaints and then they're like, oh, we need some artists to come in and fix it. And it's like, but you shouldn't have gotten rid of your artists in the first place. This should have been like a supplement to your business model of having skilled illustrators inside, right? Not to replace them, and then all of a sudden you realize you have this Frankenstein that you can't control, and now you have to get seasoned illustrators back in to fix it. That's what I foresee happening.
Hey, Chris.
And the thing about it is that Midjourney and all these things do not create consistent results. You could send something through the same content over and over and get a different image every single time. That's why that one children's book that was supposedly written by AI and drawn by AI, none of the images inside of that book ever match each other. They're just images for the sake of images.
Yeah.
No, but what about the fact that you can't copy AI artwork? Like, is that not going to stop people from using it for commercial purposes?
You can't.
You can't copyright AI art. So theoretically, your whatever you use and you create in Midjourney, you can't use it because it's literally open source.
Right,
you can't copyright it.
But there are closed models that do similar things. So you don't have to use Midjourney, but
go ahead.
Well, once you get the AI image generation or video generation tool that's not under MIT's license or GPL or one of these, once it's under a closed license or once it's bankrolled by a bigger company like Microsoft with OpenAI or whatever, and they close it off, then you can do whatever you want. Then you can have copyrighted stuff as long as you pay them a fee, right? And that's where I see that going.
Well, I don't know that that's going to change as long as once you own the library of models that it's trained on completely, then things might change. But right now, it's the blanket law is like you just can't copyright AI artwork, and they would have to probably change that with a lawsuit to.
But that's very simple to change. Remember, politicians are very pliable, right?
No, I know that. Like, I do see a dystopian world where people are selling off their lifetime right of art used to train AI models, but I don't see that for a while. And like, yeah, like that's my big fear is that not us and probably not the next generation, but the generation after that, they're going to have to be competing with half the artists in history between all the stuff that has gone into the public space.
I don't even think it's like that far off. I would disagree in the timing. Like this stuff is like geometrically expanding in its capacity.
Like
they're
I honestly
working
think
so fast.
yeah, it's like within the next year or two. Like
Yeah.
that's
But hold on.
So even Brett, even if you were like Illustrator or like you will still be working and competing with this same thing, right? Like look at the language models, how they've expanded. Like I've kind of kept up with the OpenAI's GPT model, right? 3 and then version 4 when it gets to version 5. Like the thing is insane. I've even asked it like programming questions just to see what it would generate, and I'm like, holy shit, this is viable code it's putting out there. Like I asked it complex questions, it can answer it. And that's just all written stuff,
Yeah,
like
Chris,
logical.
like isn't like ChatGPT 4 like way beyond just the previous version, which was like a month ago? Like this shit is accelerating super fast.
Yeah, I know. I've been telling you guys this, but there's still a bottleneck of, you know, how much time it's going to take if you can't just scrape the internet for images to build, how much money and time it's going to take to build a catalog of images to train something off of.
No, they like what they're going to do is get past the idea of training models. What you have to get the algorithms to understand, like if you're drawing a person, right? You have to get the algorithms away from like, this is how this artist draws this person, this is how this artist handles the human body. You have to get away from that and have to say, this is a human body. Here's all the bones, muscles, sinew, cartilage, blood vessels, every single thing. The computer can absorb all of that. And you say, this is how the body moves, and these are the constraints, right? Once you get that put into the model, and then a person types in, I want a person walking down the street wearing a Brooks Brothers suit and a fedora, and it's 1930s New York, it has enough information and just generates that, not looking at anything else, right?
Yeah, but that'll be like a photo. Like that's not necessarily going to compete with like stylized art or comic books.
No, but then you can tell it like, hey, I want it in a certain style, and then it will have a bank of styles. Like it's not, you could say maybe a specific artist, but it will just kind of emulate like something like that. It doesn't have to be trained. Like if I say, hey, I want this looking like Alex Ross, it's not going to have to have studied Alex Ross just to know like methods that he may use, and it just analyzes a couple of things, and then poof, it's like, there it is.
How would it even know what you're talking about if it had never seen Alex Ross?
No, I said you don't have to train it on Alex Ross, but it has access to the internet, right? It doesn't. You won't need to train these things beforehand. Is what I'm saying.
But that's
just look at the internet.
Like, if it has access to the internet and it looks at Alex Ross, it's training itself off Alex Ross by definition.
Yeah, it's
without his consent. Without his consent.
Yeah, which is it's not allowed to do. Or if it does do,
but
then it can't copyright its work commercially.
But yeah, they're already doing that. Right?
Yeah, they're already doing that.
It's not even a matter of like, okay, you can't copyright it now. That's the board. That's your bridge, right? It's like, well, you guys can do that, but you can't copyright it. I guarantee you that enough big money is going to be put behind this that law will change real fast.
The law was just put into effect. Like everybody was all doom and gloom before the law was even in effect. And I was sitting there, I was like, they're going to put this law into effect. It's going to help protect at least some copyrighted artists, or at least some like commercial artists. And then they put it into effect. Like, I have no reason, like, I understand that's a doom and gloom scenario, but it's actually been going the other way recently. And I have no reason other than base distrust of humankind to think that that's going to change in the near future. Like I said, the dystopian future I see is somebody's just going to get $1 billion and buy everybody's fucking work. They're going to go to the family after somebody dies, and they're like a fucking leech. They're going to pay for the rights to their entire their entire lifetime library for like $10,000. And the families will take it because they're in bereavement and they need the money, or they'll hit the artist at the low point. Like, but the bottleneck there is it's going to take time to get the rights to all of that stuff, to keyword it, and to integrate it into a system that can be used as a learning model.
I don't think it's going to take as much time as you think it will. And I guarantee while we're discussing this, that they're already working on that stuff.
We're giving them ideas now. Oh fuck!
Okay,
Yeah,
honestly, I'd be
ChatGPT
doing
is
it if I
listening
had
to
the
the
money.
show like.
I'd be doing it if I had the money. Because that person fucking owns the world. When you own the rights to images, it's all about information. The future's about information.
And I guarantee there'll be the company that say, "Yeah, this drew this organically," and you'll be like, "No, bullshit. This is so and so's work. I can see it." And it's like,
No, and
well, blah, 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 blah," and then it's like, then the burner proof is on you, and it's like, well, we have billions of dollars. Who are you to say that the AI didn't draw this itself?
yeah,
Get into all these semantic arguments.
I think the thing that I'm actually kind of interested in is we're going to come to a day pretty quickly where somebody can and I know Manny's not on board with this, but somebody could go to Manny and be like, I'll tell you what. You draw fairly consistently in a style that is unique to you. So I'm going to sell you this program. You just scan in all your artwork, and it makes an AI based off your artwork that can then be your digital drawing assistant.
You don't think I have already gotten offers like that?
Really? That's already happening?
Yeah.
Brett, this is moving faster than you think, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we've been saying that.
AGI in 18 months. Don't tell me
literally,
I'm behind the
I got
slope.
an email. Literally got an email saying, "Yeah, you could be on the ground floor of a revolution," and all this sort of stuff. So it's not like I haven't gotten this shit.
I mean, it's a bit preemptive considering they haven't even fully released GPT-4 yet.
It has nothing to do with GPT.
Yeah, that's only one model.
This was not GPT. Yeah. This was another company.
Yeah, there's a bunch of AI companies. Remember, they're all dealing in different things. GPT is dealing with language learning models, which is just like written stuff, right? So it's programming, it's writing, conversation and stuff. Whereas, you have Midjourney and you have all these other ones that are image based, and you have even one that's video based. So you have all these different companies handling different medias, right? Different AI models and media. So, and they're all in competition, right? They're all trying to be first out of the gate to be the best one. Like Google's like rushing Lambda and Bard out the door, right, to compete with GPT-4, and then the other guys are putting out their language models to compete with it, where other guys are just integrating it, right? And you have Facebook with Alpaca, and you have all these things happening at once, and they're all pushing each other. They're all trying to be not just, well, you can't be the first now, you have to be the best, right? Because they're eyeing that money, right? That's where the next big money pool is this AI, and people are signing up. OpenAI charges $20 a month to access the plus version of their GPT model, so there's money in it.
Yeah. By the way, I already know the answer, Manny. Thank you for saying no to that bullshit.
I forgot to post the email.
You should have. Yeah, put those fuckers on.
I know. I took
Yeah.
I took a screenshot of it, but it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
fuck
It was literally that said, yeah, hey, you want to be on the ground floor of revolution, yada yada. Make your process easier by blah 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 blah. You only need to pay blah 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 a month. Stuff like that.
Fuck that shit.
Hey, cool your jets.
Yeah, I know. I got the email. I
The email I got him.
They said, "Do you want to be a revolution in Cuba?"
See, here's the thing. I think a lot of people. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead, Brett.
Here's the thing. I think a lot of people are getting wrong in AI. Like, I realize everything's in upheaval right now, but I don't think that we're going to see fully non-curated AI images. I think the future is going to be AI working in tandem with an artist through different stages of the process. Like an AI could fill the flats in for Manny, and then he could put them to the colors he actually fucking wants.
Tell that to the 70% of artists that lost their jobs in China because they're just getting AI to do.
Yeah, the whole thing is still no.
There's no curation there.
I mean but that's what I said before, Brett. I was like, instead of using this to supplement illustrators to make their burden easier or whatever you need to do, like say if I had a small development studio and I was coming up with maybe full stack models to help people like come up with custom single page application software and whatever, and I was like, yes, I'm going to use AI, but I'm only going to use it for mid-level task that I would task maybe a junior developer and a QA person. So I can save that person, but I need senior developers, right, to create the unit test, to review the code. We still need code reviews and all this stuff. So I need senior guys, and maybe I need some entry-level guys to also do reviews, and then kind of bring them up because I, maybe I'm rare. I would want to bring up some talent, but in terms of mid-level and QA, I don't need that. I would just need the AI to come up with the models and the unit tests and everything, and then I have things complementing each other. But that's not how a lot of these business guys are going to think. They're going to think they can replace the whole stack. It's like, holy shit, this from top to bottom, it can generate everything. So what I need anyone for,
Yep.
right?
I think the quality is going to drop, but like you'll see consumers.
Oh, sure, but that's what I said. There's going to be a dip. There's going to be a dip. And then people are going to realize, like, hey, this is all messed up, or your images you look at, it's like, oh, what's wrong with this art? And then it's like, hey, what's wrong with the hands, the face, like this? And then with codes, it's like, hey, I ran this against a certain product, and the whole thing crashed, and where's the QA on this and whatever. All these problems are going to appear, but then businesses are just reactive, right? They're going to initially dump 70, 80, 90% of their workforce before bringing guys back in to fix what's broken, right? But they're going to break it first, thinking they can save money, and it's pure profit.
Yeah, we're where the world's damn near going to end from this major. But like we're going to lose 300 million jobs by automation, something like that in the next 10, like 300. That's on the low end, up to like 800,000, like up to 50% of the jobs in the country could just fucking evaporate super quick, because this isn't like assembly work where you have to build the machines. It's just everywhere all of a sudden. So like we're gonna have to figure out a way around it. And Chris, you're absolutely right. What I'm talking about is, after that balances back, I think eventually you're going to have a human brain driving the whole thing. But it'll be nice to be able to hand off all kinds of little tasks like flatting. I fucking hate flatting. So I think it's going to have to be a working conjunction thing. But I don't trust corporate entities to understand that.
That's where I'm coming at it from.
Yeah.
I'm like, these guys do not give a fuck. And by the way, just real quick, Chris, just a jump on that. How humiliating would that be? It's like you get fired, right? Because AI replaced you. Then you get called back in. Hey, can you come in to fix the AI? It's like, so I'm going to be subordinate to this fucking thing? Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, no,
yeah.
You parlay that into a new career of AI tech specialist and charge them $100,000 more a year.
Yeah,
but the corporate people are not going to have any humility. It's like you caused this problem in the first place by eliminating your workforce and trying to shove AI in there and replace everything. And then you've just pissed off all your consumers. Now you're losing market cap, and that's when you decided, oh, I actually need human beings in there who actually know the craft to come fix this shit. And yeah, that's going to happen. I can see that immediately. If nothing else, if this doesn't create like a whole segment of like cyber Luddites who want to go to Silicon Valley and burn the shit down just to stop AI from happening, I don't know.
Oh God. Yeah, when the people on the lower end of their profession are the ones that are going to suffer. Like if Chris got fired, he could turn around and be like, all right, I'm going to learn a little bit about how to interact with the AI, because it can code and I can code. So I'm just going to learn to kind of work a little bit with it and how it kind of works. Rebrand himself as an AI specialist and go back there and just handle all the high level stuff. It's the low level people that can be easily replaced by AI. Same with artists. It's the low level artists that are getting by doing commissions. Commissions are going to suffer. That's the biggest fucking thing, because commissions, nobody gives a shit about copyright on commissions anyway. Nobody's trying to sell their commission of their furry or D&D character that they had to draw. So I have a feeling commission is going to unfortunately dry up, because people will do that to save 10, 15, $20. So I think the people are going to have a difficult time getting their foot in the door in the future. And I think that's the biggest problem that I see. Like, how are you going to go from a junior programmer to a senior programmer when you never get the experience?
Yeah. Shit is fucking This is bleak shit, man.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's not any bleaker than what we already have. Come on, we're like 30 years away from a resource war. We're all going to drown when the oceans fucking rise if we don't nuke ourselves before then. We're not doing a great job.
Yeah, but this isn't making things any better, you know?
Yeah, it's just on top of the pile.
Yeah, it's
one
like
thing.
yeah.
I mean, you literally have Twitter accounts that literally are just bot accounts that generate artwork that is searched on. So you already see this sort of stuff. So already people getting caught in the rope-a-dope of all of this bullshit. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, the one thing I will say is that maybe not industry, but maybe the thing maybe not industry, but maybe you start seeing the idea of more people attempting to prove that they are specifically drawing things. Where you literally start seeing start seeing more processes of people drawing on paper and stuff like that. Though I would have to say that people would also have to be wary if they post those things, because obviously the AI models are all scouring the internet and steal your fucking idea.
Yep. Well, also, I mean, even though that proves you're genuine or you're doing the art in a genuine fashion, I agree with Brett's point that somebody who's actually commissioning work is not going to care how it was made, just the end result.
No, they're not going to care. They're especially when you have all those commissioners out there just looking to get their whatever itched, whatever getting artwork. They're obviously going to want, they'll if they can get their fix from an AI, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, all right. I'm done with this. It's shit depressing.
So it's time to play some Fear Factory.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Talking about the machines taking over the world.
I for one welcome our new robot overlords.
Yeah.
Where's Adam? He do the other part. He do Burton C. Bell's the sing voice, and I'll do the
sing voice. Oh man. All right,
this is the only way we're getting bionic arms, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh God. Jesus Christ.
Wait, so withdrawn and feeling numb.
Yeah, you know what? I'll stop. Like this is fucking all right. Yeah, we don't nothing outro. So let's just get out of here. Make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. And again, thanks to the guys to Discord for all the stories, because we directly get everything we talk about on the show from you guys. So thank you for that. Also the conversations that happen in there, we also discuss those as well. So keep it up. You can find Throwdown on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's two words, Throwdown Show. Throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. And if you've been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
And Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
All right, people, we will be back on Sunday. Later.
Peace.
Laters.